One of the best-known proverbs is Proverbs 6, verse 6. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Right. Consider her ways and be wise. Why? Because the ant is industrious. They provide for the colony, and they're laying by, well, it's the old Aesop's fable. The rest is the same thing, right? The grasshopper goofs off, and the ant is working and prepares for winter to come. I'm probably conflating the two in my mind, but, don't be lazy. Prepare. Mm-hmm. And it is not a lack of faith. Jesus said, while we're waiting for him to come, and I believe Jesus is coming again, and I think it's sooner than some of us suspect. But in the meantime, I don't know when that will be. Mm-hmm. I just don't know when that will be. But in Luke 19, in the parable of the servants, he says, occupy till I come. So what you do is you plan for your family like Jesus isn't coming in your lifetime, but you live like he is. And so is there a sin in laying by some money for your retirement or to provide for you and your spouse in your old age? No. If you suspect there's going to be a run on food or we're going to be isolated in our homes, there's nothing wrong with getting a little extra and putting it in the deep freeze to make sure that you provide for your family. The Bible talks about it's a sin not to provide for your family if you can. Right. There's a radical difference between panic and preparation. Mm-hmm. And there is no cognitive dissonance. There's no dissonance between faith and caution. Mm-hmm. Faith and caution. Good faith acts responsibility. Good faith acts and takes your part wherever you can go. There's one chapter I've been dwelling on a lot. Did you bump the microphone in there? This is professional radio. Yeah. One passage our family, and I in particular, have been claiming for both my family and the Voice of Prophecy here is one that you may want to spend some hours in. Maybe we'll get a chance today to look at some of it, but it's Psalm 91. Mm-hmm. And it talks about God providing for his people, and it mentions pestilence and plague. It really does. And there's some elements there that maybe we'll have time to look at today, but there's one spot in particular where it says that God is your buckler and your shield. And here's the question that I've got for you. What's a buckler? A buckler is a tiny little shield that you strap to your forearm so that you can use it while you're sword fighting. Here's the image. God still expects you to do something about your situation and not be lazy or sluggish and fight the battle to your extent, but you know that you have the shield of God on your forearm and that he can handle things for you. Mm-hmm. And so faith is always a faith that acts. That's the principle in the entire book of James. Faith acts, and people with faith continue to act. Occupy till I come. That same passage, just one other point here from... Man, I chatted up the whole segment, but one other point from Psalm 91 is verse 11. You'll notice that it says he will give his angels charge over you. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to me that Satan grabs that verse in the temptation of Christ. He just grabs that verse and says, throw yourself off the temple, for God says his angels will have charge. He takes that verse and tempts Jesus, and Jesus says, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. There's a line between faith and presumption. There's nothing wrong with adequate caution and placing your faith in God.